Okay, great. So our research project was on the Ableton Push 2. You can see a lovely picture of it right here. So going into the origin of the product, it came out with Live 9 in March 2013. That's wrong, but that's okay. In 2013, not 2019. So when Live 9 came out, they also released this piece of software, and it was a collaboration with a company called Akai Professional, which is another brand that makes different instruments like this. And so when it came out in the 2013, they did some reviews and some stuff on it and made it better, and then they came out with the Push 2, which is what we have right now, in 2015. So that's the...
Great. So I just wanted to point out a few small differences, but they're important. On the, I guess your guys' right side, like right here, it's kind of hard to tell. You'll see it more when you see it on the document binder. But there's a section right here that lets you go to different sections of your snapshots, which is very useful. That doesn't have it right here. But, I mean, as you can see, a lot of the things are very similar. But they just did a lot of software and like a lot of software updates, and this screen is a lot more high resolution now. So it's a lot nicer.
Yes. So here are some of the strengths and weaknesses of the Push 2. So some of the strengths are, first and foremost, it's very proficient. It was designed, it does everything that a DAW can do. It has different buttons and things that you can use, and it has optimal compatibility with Ableton software. So it was made for the program. So when you're using the program, it's super easy. Instead of using another, as opposed to using some other DAW or plugin that you're going to use that might not work so well with your software. Sometimes some bugs happen. It's not super compatible. This is made specifically for your Ableton software. So everything that you need to do in your project is it's a lot easier to kind of understand what's going on because it's made for the software that you're using. So those are the strengths that I see. And on the flip side, I feel like that's also a weakness. I feel like it is nice sometimes, especially with people who work with different programs like Logic and whatever, GarageBand even, let's say. It sucks that you can't use this for a different software. That sucks. So that is what I feel like is a weakness. If you would be able to use it with different programs, I think that would kind of be a little bit more versatile, and it would help you get some things accomplished that you would want to get done. And of course, every electronic thing has its bugs. Some of the things that were wrong with some of the problems that a lot of people were having was that it was like having graphical, just bugs, just like every new update. But every time they update it, they do try to go through them. So those are two of the things that I think are their weaknesses.
As I was messing with these yesterday, actually, one of these knobs kept creating new snapshots of just empty clips, which was extraordinarily frustrating. And I thought maybe it was because I have the standard version of Live at my house and not the suite. So I'm just really hoping that doesn't happen today.
Some other people have also complained something similar, same things like switching of values or like some of the buttons would change. So of course everything has its bugs. So going into the opportunities and applications. So when you if you were to go purchase the Push 2 today, it does come with a subscription of Live with it. So you get this, and you also get a subscription to the intro, though. It doesn't come with Suite or Standard, it just comes with intro. So that's really nice. It's nice to be able to buy a product and then be able to use it, what it's used for, instead of having to buy the product and then spend another $600 on Ableton. So it is compatible with Live Intro. It's compatible with Suite and Standard, like I said. So it's perfect for live performances. So I think that one of the biggest things that people were going to use this for would be live performances. I think a lot of DJs, it would be a good equipment to use for that, live things, and like festivals even, or even something kind of out there, like maybe doing some sort of like orchestral thing. There's a lot of different cool things that you can see. If you go online and search, Push demo, there's a lot of cool things that come up. And like I said, because of the compatibility with Ableton, it does help you, it allows you to be super fluid with Ableton. And I think that, like, as opposed to just kind of working on your desktop and not having an instrument, I think that if you were to get an instrument like a DAW to plug into Ableton, I think that it would be great to work with a push, because everything that you need if you're working in Ableton is right there, and it helps you do that and helps you with your personal projects.
All right, so using this for your senior project, I think is extremely easy and should be no problem. It can basically be used as the entire like foundation of what your senior project is if you're doing a performance-based project. So that's pretty much what I thought about, is you have this and you basically have Ableton in one, like, I don't know what this is, like 12 by 12 rectangle or square. 12 by 12 would be a square. So I'm saying, like, you can have clips set up that you can trigger, and I'll show you this later, how it can have like a session view thing where you have all your clips and snapshots in one thing, and you can click on each one differently and fire them all. I mean, I'm about to do the impromptu song when we do this, so I can demo it and just show you like basic flow and how it works. And DJ vibes, I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw Questlove using one of these on the Grammys, so
Oh, that's cool.
already being used.
That's right.
And then I said, because you can, this is Ableton, and like Ableton manifests in physical reality, like, so you can completely do a project from beginning to end with just this device. So, that being said, hey,
Hey.
we're gonna slide this over.
If you keep it green, it'll go full screen.
Oh, I have an idea. I was thinking about this.
Oh, okay.
Everyone can see it. We're good.
Yes.
Everyone sees everything?
Yep.
Okay. So, I'm just going to delete these audio clips real fast. And to do that, you just hold this delete button. Or you hold the audio clip, actually, and then you delete it. Or other way around. So I just deleted those two. See how they're gone now?
Yeah.
I did that on the push.
Magic.
So now I'm going to go to the first MIDI clip, and I'm going to browse. I'm going to get some drums. So let me know if you guys see one you want to use. All right, I'll choose.
Yeah, we can.
We'll do that one. All right. So now there's a circle down here. You can't really see it, but it's a circle, and that's for recording. So I'm going to go ahead and record, and it all obviously there's the pads to play on. So I'm going to go ahead and record real fast. Turn on the metronome. All right, and then I'm going to quantize it. It's really not that cool when you guys can't see that I'm pressing, like, there's a button here that says quantize on it. I'm going to click it, and it's going to quantize the clip I just played. It did it. Cool? It was that easy.
Yes!
We saw that much, so we
So-
believe you.
Perfectly in time, right? All right, and then there's these knobs up here have different parameters that go to them based on the plugin that I'm using, so I can add delay. But I don't like the way that sounds. I'm gonna add some overdrive and saturate it a little bit.
Turn it down a little bit, just so we can hear you.
Cool. I'm gonna saturate it a little bit. Make it sound ugly. All right. Now I'm gonna scoot over to the next MIDI clip. I'm gonna add, let's go keys. I'll add some keys real fast. So I'm gonna go to sounds, which you can't see that I'm doing this. It has a menu for me to select all the things I have in my Ableton project at the moment. We're gonna do strings actually. Alright, and then I have an option. There's a place for me to play the notes on here, but there's also a place for me to choose what scale I want to use. So I'm just going to use, can't go wrong with the blues. So I'm going to use the blues. Kind of quiet though. Alright, now I'm going to record this. heard that. Quantize that. And now I'm going to add a completely new track because there's a button specifically for that function. I'm out of bass. Use the same scale so that everything sounds good. Alright, and then I have the inklings of a completely new track. Cool. So I would like to show you that you can use this to easily splice samples, but a lot of that happens in this screen right here. And you can't even see that screen. But I wish you could see everything I'm seeing.
Yeah, and I do think that, like I said, especially if you are kind of like me and you don't really know much about like you're not super fluid with the programs yet, I think that this makes it a lot easier for you to kind of go through it and look and learn the software, because especially if you don't know anything at all, like let's just say you've never taken this class, we're not in the second sequence, and you're just starting to learn Ableton for the first time. I think that if you were to have this device, that it would really help pick up the simple things that you need to know really fast, because like I said, like the menu at the top, it tells you everything. Like you have a knob for the saturation instead of, like going in there and, trying to figure out what, it simplifies almost everything. And I think that is one of the best things about it.
And then just two more things just to show you that you can actually fire separate clips. So I have all these going, right? And then I can stop that clip. And then I can go over, stop that clip. So now it's just the drums, and now I'm gonna fire those clips back. Now they're back in. See what I'm talking about? And then I can also mix all of these things together. So I got my drum, I just turned it down on the push. Strings just went down. Bass just went down. And then of course you can go through and I can do all my pans, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but I just moved the melodic instruments over. And then you have your synths and everything, and you can mix all those in, and you can add your audio effects into everything. All this to say, it is Ableton in a physical contraption.
Simplified almost.
Great. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions.
Questions?
Great.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Okay.
Just really good presentation, and I really like the fact that you did a impromptu freestyle song.
Thank you. So thank you.
What's up, Chris?
Really good presentation. My question is, how much time do you say it took you to start to understand the device? Did you say as soon as you saw it, you're like, oh, okay? Or do you think there's a little bit of a learning curve? It also helps that obviously that you guys have some experience in this.
Yeah, I was going to
field
say,
at least,
if you have no experience with
Yeah.
Ableton and you don't really know anything about electronic music, I feel like it would be kind of hard to pick up just from
course.
that. But if you have experience with using other programs, I think that it would maybe only take you a few weeks to learn it, maybe 1 week, 2 weeks. If you can pick up stuff fast, you could probably learn it in a couple of days. Like I said, if you know stuff about programs, music software, and you know things like Control, all that crap, you will be able to pick it up really fast. But if you don't, it's obviously just going to take you a little longer.
Yeah, because everything's labeled, especially if you have some familiarity with pretty much any music software, but especially if you have it with Ableton,
Right.
there are, on the right side, there's all these 8th note, 16th note things that give you access to sequencer options, and there's things over here that say scale, layout, note, session.
Yeah.
Obviously, when you hit note, it gives you a thing of notes that you can press and play on. Scale lets you choose the scale you want. Layout is in reference to drums / sequencers, and you can have it where you have part of it will be note playing, so you can make the thing, and then part of it will be a sequencer, and then session is session view in Ableton because this is made for Ableton. And just everything is labeled.
Yeah, I think
really
they do
well.
a good job of that, labeling all this stuff. It's super easy.
And then, of course, there's setup, which lets you mess with LED display and brightness and sensitivity of the pads and everything like that.
What ways can you expand on this technology besides using Ableton and just the push?
Well, see, because it doesn't work with anything. That's what I was kind of my question to him when I first originally started doing this was, I just feel like you can't use it for anything other than Ableton. If you're not using Ableton, you can't use it. You can't plug this into another software and start going. That's what I said kind of the weakness was. Like, other companies come out with software that it's versatile. You can use it into any software, and I think that's a benefit in some ways. But I think other than like I said, live performance is like pretty much the only, well, at least the first thing that comes to my mind. I think that there are some things that you can do that tweak that, and make it like something like an orchestral thing or something really cool. But other than that, I don't know how much you can expand off of that. It's pretty much it does one thing, and you can do with that what you want, and however creative you want to get with it, that's great. But for the most part, it kind of just works for Ableton, and if you're trying to do a live performance, that's kind of what it facilitates.
Does it work as a regular MIDI controller?
Yeah.
Like, obviously with limited things outside of Ableton?
No, it only
You can't
works.
even MIDI map things to buttons? No?
I haven't tried.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if anybody's done that yet. Well, I mean,
Uh,
so what you're highlighting as a weakness,
I think it's a
flip that around,
strength.
Like how can that also be viewed as a strength?
Yeah, I think it's a strength too.
Well, yeah, okay, so look, here's my thing. I have a Novation keyboard at my house.
Yeah.
And when I plug that thing into Logic, it sucks. It is the worst thing I've ever used in my entire life. Because Novation always makes stuff, it's kind of for Ableton. Even though, like, you can use it anywhere, they kind of have a preference towards Ableton. This thing, when I use it in Ableton, is so easy and intuitive and, like, boundless that
Yeah.
it is 100%, I think, a strength that it's only for Ableton. And when you ask, how can I expound on this, you're basically asking me, how can I go and question all these genius programmers who created the greatest DAW on the planet? And me, my feeble-minded, I just made a really crappy blues song out of, like, in
Feeble-minded.
3 seconds. Like, I cannot expand on this.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
love this thing, and I think everyone should have one.
Yeah, everything you can do with Ableton, you can do with this thing. So there's a lot you can do with Ableton. Everything you can do with Ableton, you can do with this thing. So
Final question: is it an instrument?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think 100%.
I think it is an instrument.
Okay.
It definitely has instrument aspects.
It falls under a couple categories.
It's too, like, it's because it also has, like, recording, like, console qualities to it. So aspects of it are definitely an instrument.
Okay. But you need to practice it like an instrument. You need
Yeah.
To,
Yeah,
Yes, you
because
do.
the one thing I noticed is that the way it lays out notes is really interesting, and it's a learning curve. And I was thinking about, like, well, if I picked up a saxophone, I wouldn't know how to play a C either.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. It definitely has a
100%.
small learning curve,
Okay.
but instantly make music once you get it. No problem.
All right. You wanna follow?